something big, red, and hot is coming at you.
Okay, no, we're not about to do that. You need to chill out.
May I get a round of applause?
You're watching Be a Lobster.
Hi everyone. This is Jenna. I'm so excited that you all are tuning in to Be a Lobster right now. And by you all, I mean the two people that told me that they're listening, which is probably my mom and my dad. I'm so excited for today's episode, and hopefully people can hear me. And if I'm sure my mom's tired of having to tune in every single week. So if my mom could text me like she usually does and say, "Hey, yeah, you can actually hear you," that would be great if she could let me know. Mom, please text me if the microphone's working. I feel a little disoriented because I just started my live on YouTube, but I don't think I did it right, and I think that the title might say another podcast. I don't know. I'm just feeling disoriented today. I think I drank too much caffeine because I had a matcha, and I've been shaky ever since. And like I can't, for some reason. Okay, wait. Never mind. It's good now. I just had to turn my speaker up. I had caffeine and now I've been super, super, super shaky. And also, I didn't prepare that much for this episode because I feel like nothing exciting is happening right now. So I feel like I'm being kind of a grandma and being kind of boring. But I am feeling super lobster today because when I was walking to go to the show just now, literally within the last 15 minutes, I saw two people living the best lobster lifestyle that they could be living, which so there was this one girl and this guy, and they were walking, and he was like, "They're just jealous if anyone judges you for riding a scooter, like just get the scooter." And I overheard this, and she was like, "I'm just scared, that's like kind of weird to have a scooter." And obviously my big mouth, I was like, "Get that scooter, girl, it's awesome and probably pretty badass." Whenever I see anyone on a scooter or any kind of rolling vehicle, I'm like, automatically they're cool because they're coordinated. I could never use roller skates or rollerblades. So props to that girl, and hopefully I inspired her to get her scooter. And then also I saw this girl emote in despair in front of literally the entire campus today when I was walking to the show. She just like screamed and she was like, "No, this sucks!" And everyone looked around, and I found that super inspiring because you know what? Yeah, you know what? Sometimes things suck and you don't have to hold it in. Let her rip in front of the whole campus if you want. You know, nobody cares. I was honestly inspired. So, you know, today, if you're in public and you can't hold in your emotions, I say let her rip. And on that note, I'm going to tell you guys what the heck this podcast even means, now that I've just rambled for the past like 5 minutes. Also, my mom never texted me if my microphone was on or not, so I'm guessing that means not even she's watching. So I guess it's just us today. Okay, so today is episode 5 of Be a Lobster, and I'm titling it, "What Drives Me?" as someone who can't drive. So today's episode of Be a Lobster is basically, me talking about the things that drive me. But let me tell you a little bit about the podcast, first of all. So too many people, including myself, care way too much about what the world thinks of them. I was bullied all throughout high school, and that kind of carried me into college because then I started to walk through campus with my head down low, afraid to be seen. And then sometimes I do get uncomfortable in social situations. But you know who's also uncomfortable? Lobsters. Lobsters, when they need to outgrow their shell a few times in their life to shed the old one. It's called molting. Lobsters molting is a lot like when humans go through challenging or uncomfortable experiences in order to grow. Just as lobsters have to shed their restrictive shell to keep growing, we often have to go through tough situations that push us outside of our comfort zones. And during these times, we might feel vulnerable or exposed, just like how lobsters do. after shedding its shell when it's soft and defenseless. However, just as the lobster's new shell eventually hardens and becomes stronger, we as humans also come out of difficult experiences, more resilient, having learned and grown from them. So basically, all the science shit aside, it's a natural part of life, both for lobsters and for us, to face periods of discomfort in order to move forward and become stronger. And on Be a Lobster, we are going to teach myself and others to get comfortably uncomfortable, how to become confident, because life's too short to hide in your shell. So that's what the show's about. Let me talk a little bit about my week so far. Like I said, I've been a grandma, I feel like. I don't know. I'm not that exciting. And lately I've been seeing these TikToks on my page. And there was this TikTok, I think James Charles made it, and he was like, put the microphone down. You don't need a podcast. Cancel your Amazon order for your microphone. Not everyone gives a crap what you're saying. So that made me insecure, okay? And that wasn't very lobster of me. But then I was like, should I put the microphone away? Do I need a podcast? Really? Everyone has a podcast now. Everyone, literally everyone here. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. They're like, me too. So it is a little intimidating when literally the whole internet is like trying to do these, and all these dumbass podcasters are like going viral on TikTok, and I'm like, oh God, that could be me. That could be me one day. Nobody screen record this and post this on TikTok. I don't want to go viral the wrong way. Not that anyone's even listening. Anyways, yeah, so my week so far has been good. I've been really busy with school and stuff. I have been in my shell. Not even gonna lie. But I did get out of my shell yesterday because I had a Greek wedding, which was kind of fun. I don't know. There's something about social situations that feel a little bit forced, that there's just that level of awkwardness, like, oh, we all kind of had to be here. But it was fun. I didn't really do anything exciting either. And then, there was this one, I really had this burning question though at the Greek wedding, because the photographer or the videographer had this camera that I really wanted. So look at me getting out of my comfort zone, because I went up and I was like, is that the Sony A7X? And he was like, yeah, it is. So then I got some details on what camera to get, and that was uncomfortable, getting out of my shell, talking to some random frat bro, not just a frat bro, a film frat bro, a cine film frat bro. So I really did that. So yeah, I asked my friends what is the most embarrassing thing that I've ever done, my friends from home, because I want to start to tell at least one embarrassing story to publicly embarrass myself every episode. So here's the story. My freshman year, my friends always laugh. Oh, yeah, so I wrote this. I'm looking at my notes right now also. My freshman year, my friends always laugh when I tell this story, and my best friend, my notes make no sense. Holy crap. How did I get into this school, bro? Okay. How am I in college? These notes suck. I'm going to tell it myself. So, my freshman year of high school, I dated my best friend's boyfriend. Best friend. Sorry, there was like a little bit of a long pause. It sounded like I was going to say my best friend's boyfriend. No, my best friend's boyfriend's best friend. And by dated, I mean like FaceTimed. It was freshman year. It was like really cute and innocent and everything. He was on the hockey team and he was shorter than me. And I was super smitten, but one time we were doing a quadruple date. Me, my best friend, her boyfriend, and then me and I don't even want to say boyfriend, but yeah, I guess that's the word for it, my boyfriend at the time. We were all sitting on this blow-up mattress that we put in my living room for some reason, and we were all four of us just laying in this air mattress. Is that weird? Now that I think of it, yeah, that is kind of weird. But yeah, so we were all watching a movie sitting on this air mattress. I think it was Harry Potter. And I, ew, I can't even tell this story. It's so weird and embarrassing. I was trying to touch my boyfriend's hair, but I accidentally was touching my best friend's boyfriend's hair, Quinn, and they're still together to this day. Also, Lucy and Quinn are still together, but they always make fun of me, and they're like, because the guys had the same like brown curly hair, so I thought that I was touching my boyfriend's hair, but I was literally touching Quinn's hair, my best friend's boyfriend, and they didn't say anything because they thought it was funny, so they just let it go on and then told me afterwards just to clown me, and I still get clowned 5 years later, and Quinn like breaks down laughing every time that he tells that story, and for some reason I'll get like upset because it just gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I don't even know why. It's not even a big deal because he's like one of my closest friends, but it's just weird. Like, ugh, I'm such a dumbass. But yeah, there's a little cringy story for you. Let's get into the what drives me as someone who can't drive. Okay, first of all, let me tell you why I can't drive. Okay. It's a long story. Well, so I'm a very type B person. I think I talked about this last episode. I literally carry my passport around because I just never ordered a government issued ID, and anytime I have to go somewhere that they need my ID, I'll just carry around my $800 passport, whatever. I didn't have my credit card for like 4 months because I left it in my friend's wallet, so I just solely relied on Apple Pay for months on end because I had no idea where my card was and I didn't order a new one. And then same situation happened. I just never signed myself up. Like I never signed myself up for driving lessons. A lot of people start right when they're 15 and 4 months, or whenever as soon as they're able to. Not me. I don't know. And also, it's kind of on my mom. I'm not, okay. But I should have been proactive. It should have been me. But anyway, so yeah, I never signed myself up. And then I finally did sign myself up like 6-7 months later when everyone was already like almost done with the whole process and had taken all the driving lessons. Ugh, it was so annoying. There's so many different lessons and I kind of cheated my way through the driving school stuff. I could tell you why, but it's irrelevant. And then I went for my driving test, and I left my e-brake on. They failed me. I went back to my dad. He bursted out crying. He was like, I failed you as a dad because you can't drive. And I was like, no, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just come back next week. Yeah, I never went back because I just, like, forgot to sign up. And I was busy. I was doing, like, the pageant stuff. So, yeah. And then I just had my parents drive me around all the time. And my best friends always just drove me around wherever. And then obviously the train. If I wanted to do anything fun, then I would just take the train into Boston, and I lived right near the train, so it didn't even really matter. But yeah, it's very humbling being a 19-year-old who can't drive. And honestly, so much time has passed that I'm kind of embarrassed to even start again. So maybe that would be a really great thing to document on this podcast, or like on my social media, just being like, this is out of my comfort zone, learning to drive, and I'm doing it. But I need a few more episodes to get used to get out of the shell. Yeah. So I guess it's not, I mean, a lot of people don't drive here though, so I don't know. Let me now talk about what drives me. So, I think that what drives me on a really big kind of spectrum, as in something that is literally made me who I am, was probably going through hardships. You know, when I was in high school, and I obviously, you guys probably know, I had literally the worst high school experience like ever. I think that it was the first few years of high school, I was thinking, well, I'll just go and have fun and, just be there for my friends and do cheerleading, and who cares about my grades? I'm going to be an actor. I'll probably be famous by the time this is over. Womp womp. No, you're stupid. That's not going to happen. But I think that when I was getting super, super bullied and I didn't want to go to school every day, what recentered me was being like, wait, I'm not going to be the most liked person in the room right now, so what's the point in going to high school and just desperately trying to have this awesome social life and desperately trying to make it like the movies? It is not going to be like that. Just get to work. You have 4 years before you have to go to college. Actually, I feel like my epiphany kind of came sophomore year of high school, but I think that that helped to kind of recenter me, and then I locked in. It was very immediate lock-in in my sophomore year. Then I started being an honor student, and then I wrote the book around that time that I wrote, and then I started to compete for the pageants again that I had done when I was little. And then I did mock trial, which was so nerdy. I remember all my friends were like, ew, Jenna, ugh, why do you want to do mock trial? That's so weird. Like, all the people in that are weird. Like, the teacher who runs that is so annoying. Like, why would you want to do mock trial? That's literally the corniest thing ever. And I was like, my middle name is corny. And then from there, I just fell in love with mock trial. But I never would have done that had I not been bullied. Because if I had this awesome, amazing high school experience and everything handed to me, then I probably would have just been like, I'm not going to do anything except for, like, go shopping and cheerlead and talk about guys. That wasn't for me personally. And then that made me who I am. So I think what drives me is kind of that, it's almost like, it's like the way that I am made up. The makeup of my soul changed literally just by having hardships, because then it's just kind of given me that mindset. It's like anything bad that happens, well, I can help people through that. The only way that I'm able to get up every day is knowing that if I have something bad happen to me, that it's either going to make the good times feel so much better, or if it's, something oddly specific, then I can help other people who have gone through the same thing. Even if it's something as stupid as, oh, it really stinks that this laundry machine is broken, but now I can go tell everyone who's also all my roommates who are doing laundry, I can go and tell them that the laundry machine's broken, and then they won't go through that. Really stupid example, but basically that's what I mean. It's kind of that mindset. It's like, if something bad comes my way, then it's just good karma for later. So that changed my makeup for sure, just going through the hard times. And then I think that also, I wrote down quarantine writing book, how I came out of hiding. Yes, I did. I was in hiding for months on end. I kind of talked about this a few episodes ago, but when I was being super bullied, I did not want to go outside. I did not want anyone to see me. I just wanted to literally hide in my room until I got to go to college. Which even then, I think that when you're going through something hard, something that I noticed that how I just said, like, that something bad, every time something bad happens and I think something good, I think that I procrastinated a lot of my happiness to college, and I just thought as soon as I come to college, everything's going to be completely perfect and everything's going to fall into place and I'm going to find my people immediately, which is sort of true, but it's not healthy to always procrastinate that happiness. Oh, once I have this awesome job, then I'll finally be happy. Because I promise you, once you get it, you're going to be like, oh, this is it? I competed for those pageants for years, and then I just knew. I was like, when I finally win that pageant after 10 years of competing, when I finally win that, once I achieve that goal, I will finally feel happy with myself. and I'll feel super content and in myself and content with the world, and it's just going to be so awesome, and I'm going to prove everyone wrong, and everyone's just going to think I'm so awesome and so cool. Huh. No. Womp womp. Heck no. That's not what happened. Honestly, caused a whole lot more issues when I won that pageant. Because then everyone was saying, why did she win? Why did she win? Ooh, like, wrong choice. And that made me so insecure. I wanted to frisbee that crown off of my head as soon as possible when I found out that people were saying I didn't deserve it. Why? Why did I let that affect me? Because I had procrastinated my happiness for so long that I thought that I'd finally feel better when I achieved this goal, and then I didn't feel anything. And that was something that I have had to learn and that I'm still working on today. And I do it in simple things, like, oh, finally when Friday comes, everything, all my issues are gonna go away. Oh, it's been a really hard week. Well, it's Friday. And then you go and it's Friday and you go to the party and it's like awful, or you go and you hang out with your friends, or you finally sit down and it just does not hit. You finally get that break. You're procrastinating your happiness. So what I've been trying to do is these recentering, going back to what drives me, recentering. I don't even know if that's like a word or people even say that, but in my world, yes, recentering is what drives me. Take a deep breath and just be like, I want to be happy in this place now, where I am right now, and take it all in. I'm just trying to take things one moment at a time now, and not always think that what will happen in the future, I'll finally feel better. Do you know what I mean? So I think that the reason why it's been hard for me to really enjoy myself this semester so far has been because I felt like I've disassociated and I've been procrastinating even thinking about anything, or procrastinating even being present. I'm just trucking through the days, just trying to have them go as fast as possible. For what? I'm young and life is so good. I really need to work on just taking every moment and being super grateful for it. And, you know, if I feel, just like this podcast, if I ever feel like embarrassed or a hard time, just trying to take that and think, well, at least I'm so grateful to feel those things, because the ability to feel and the ability to experience is something so beautiful, because with every opportunity to experience is also the opportunity to grow and to change and to become a better human, regardless of what that feeling or experience might be, because everything's an opportunity. So I'm going to try to take more moments, because basically what I was saying, how my sophomore year I was in hiding and I didn't go outside. I liked it because I didn't have to feel anything, and I could just kind of be a brain fog, like little fart. Like, you just didn't do anything, and you talk to them and be like, yeah, life's good, nothing's really happening. So it's really nice to just go and experience. And I that's how I started to write the book and then get out there and do the community service and stuff, and thank God that happened, because where would I be now? I'd probably just be back in Boston, like, oh, I'll go to college soon. Let me just collect my thoughts, you know? And then thinking, oh, well, when I finally do that, life's going to be great. And then my life would have been completely different. So the moral of the story is you can't procrastinate your happiness. I think that something that also drives me is the fear of failure. I mean, so many people have sacrificed things for me to be here today, including myself. So when I think about the way that I've worked so hard, it kind of scares me to almost, I can lose it at any moment if I don't take the right steps, which isn't necessarily true, but that's just the way that my intrusive thoughts kind of work. But yeah, the fear of failure is definitely very, very prevalent in my life, and also just my love for my family that drives me every day, because like they've sacrificed so much. So I'm just in this constant cycle of wanting to get better, to be better. And sometimes it is exhausting, you know? Like, I think growing up, I felt like I wasn't enough a lot of the time because I grew up super chubby, and I used to get super bullied about the way that I looked. So I always really wanted to just be pretty and experience the things that the other kids were experiencing who were like attractive for how attractive that a kid could be. I mean, like I was not a cute kid. You know what I mean? Like I up until 6th, 7th grade, I had a big overbite. I was like overweight, and I just looked completely different. When I run into people now, sometimes they don't even recognize me from the way that I look now. Like I'll see people from my childhood and I'll say, "Hi, I haven't seen you in so long." And they're like, "I'm sorry, who are you?" And I'm like, "Jenna." And they're like, "That you're Jenna? What the heck?" Because that's how drastic it is. I look completely different. And I think that that's where the root of my just constant cycle of wanting to look better, be better. And again, you procrastinate it, and I procrastinated my happiness my whole life as a kid. Well, once I get my braces, or once I lose the weight, or once I do this, then I'll finally be happy, then I'll finally like myself. That's not necessarily the case all the time, because I think if I showed a photo of the way that I look now in comparison to my younger self, and showed a photo of me to my younger self, showed her like achieving one of her biggest dreams ever, which was, the pageant stuff, I think she would have an aneurysm. No joke. I think my younger self would literally have an aneurysm if she saw the way that I look now. And now that I'm here, I'm like, both times life was great. It didn't make any difference the way that I look necessarily. And so why myself as a girl am I always thinking like I can look better and be better and always like striving for that? Sometimes it's like you have to just be content, because I'm sure it wouldn't make that much of a drastic difference in your happiness because it hasn't in the past. So I guess that helps with the pushing back on, oh, I'll be happy later on. I'll be happy later on. Just take a moment to be content with who you are now. Like, oh, I'll apply for this job once I get this, or I just have to lose those last 5 pounds and then I'll go on vacation. Like, take that vacation, go, have a good time. You're fine the way you are now. So that's what kind of my procrastination of happiness is driving me in the opposite direction. That's probably the worst thing that I do, and the number one thing that I have to work on. It's just the way that my mind works, the procrastination of, oh, I'll feel this emotion later because I can't handle it right now, that kind of thing. I'm trying to work on feeling things as they come in the moments that are happening every single second. I'm like doing constant check-ins. I went to dinner the other night with my sorority grandbig and my big, and they said to do little check-ins throughout the day, usually before you exercise or before you do something like take a shower or something. Just take a deep breath and check in on yourself and think, what am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? Am I okay? Or what am I doing in this moment just to recenter yourself? So I'm going to start doing that. And I think that other people should too, and let me know if it works for you. Yeah, so basically, just looking back on my notes, I said I feel like I'm always striving to be better, even if I'm exhausted or if I'm tired of it. I finish one goal, and then there's 10 others. I fixed something about that I didn't like about my parents, then I have 10 other things I want to fix. I think that's just how it works. I feel like people are always going to want what they don't have, and they're always going to say, oh, well, once I have this, I'll be happy, or, you know, that's so bad. And I think I'm happy that I was able to talk about that, because I think it's therapeutic to talk about the things that you feel like you could be better at. But am I contradicting myself, though? Because I'm like, I need to get better at this. So I don't know. It's just a whole cycle. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get better. It's just the fact that people who aren't able to be happy in that moment, not be happy because of it, because of the constant striving to do better, think better, be better. It's very, like, American Psycho-esque, like Patrick Bateman. But yeah, honestly, I should have written more notes. This is like the least prepared I've ever been for a podcast, but I'm going to play this game that I just found next to me called Ducking High, and there's a picture of a duck on it, and it said, these questions will get you high. I don't really feel like getting high right now, but I'm going to read these, and then I'm going to end the podcast early because I'm tired. Oh, it's 333, make a wish. Okay. If you had the option to never feel one emotion again, what emotion would it be? And the funniest thing is, I think a lot of people would say embarrassment. Not me, obviously. I'm the embarrassment queen, duh. I don't know if I would ever do that, because I think that feeling things is at the core what makes you who you are. There are so many feeling sad. If you never felt sad, then you wouldn't appreciate the happy. It's kind of like the analogy, if it were always sunny outside, or if it was always sunny and never rain, we wouldn't appreciate the sun as much, because then it would just always be that way, only one way. But if you have a whole week long of rainy days, and then finally at the end, like that nice Saturday, beautiful weather, super sunny, it makes it feel so much better because you had to wait a little bit. So I think that translates to my life, because obviously, I said it again, but I did have a really rough patch where I was super depressed, and I wouldn't change it for the world, because it made me who I am. And going through those rough patches and really tough experiences just makes me appreciate where I am now so much more. And now I'm so grateful that I'm able to feel the way that I feel about things now. And going through, being super depressed and being super sad made me very much more empathetic. It made me look at most people, and instead of, if you ever get kind of like a dirty look on campus, or, heard that somebody's said something bad about you, now instead of thinking, oh, God, she's such an asshole. Why would she say that? Why would she say that about me? Instead, I think, wow, she might be going through things that I can't even fathom. She could have literally the hardest life ever. We don't know. So I think that it gave me that perspective. So if I had the option to never feel one emotion again, I would say, no, give me another option, because I want to feel all the emotions, because feelings very important part of being a person, being a human. I'm looking through all the little question cards. I feel like I kind of going off of that emotions thing, that you never know what people are going through. I was talking to my friend today, and she was talking about how she had this kind of friendship breakup with these girls, and these girls were always super kind of judgmental and would always kind of yell at her. and get her kind of say, "Oh, you are an awful person. Like, why aren't you calling us? Whatever." And would always talk really bad about people and like yell at her and just be kind of mean people. And I said, "What are at the core of most of the topics when you were talking to these girls?" And she was like, "Talking about other people or male validation." And that kind of makes sense because, and also there was other kind of things that I don't want to say too, these kind of internalized comments like calling people things that they themselves were insecure about. And here's the thing. It's okay to be friends with people who are insecure, but it's not good for you to be around people who project their insecurities and therefore turn into a mean person. It's because being around people who are super duper insecure, who then take that and use it as an excuse to literally be judgmental to everyone and be just a total asshole to literally everyone, those people can infect you. The best word for it would be infect. Because I've felt it before when I've hung around people whose kind of world revolves around like mediocre men who they desperately need the validation from, or from super kind of like a rude place where they're always talking bad on people, like, "Ugh, what is this person wearing?" or saying just awful things. I've heard so many awful things, and leaving people out. The list goes on. Just a mean girl. There are mean boys too, but I just wanted to say, like, mean girl, like the Regina George type. That infects me, and I feel sick after. I feel like I had to wear a mask the whole time. And then it starts to rub off on you. And then I'm like, I'm not a person who really seeks that kind of male validation, but should I? Is it weird that I'm not, like, grouping this frat and, like, that they don't know me? Like, am I the weird one? And, like, what do you mean? Like, and yeah, okay, is it bad I didn't get a date to this whatever the heck party? Me, at my core, I don't care, but being around these people made me think that this is how I need to be, and I'm still struggling with this now, because there are certain people that I surround myself with who are like that, who are constantly seeking that icky validation and projecting that insecurity, or they'll say things about themselves like, "Oh, I look so ugly, like, ew, look at this pimple I have on my face," or something like that. And then I'll be like, "I literally have acne, so are you saying that, do you think that I look bad?" kind of thing. And so you should try to, like, tell your friends if they ever say anything, like, mean about themselves, that they should be kind to themselves, because that could totally rub off on you and make you then have to kind of, it leaves you thinking. But I've definitely felt that as of recent, and I have other friends who have felt the same way, where it's just like the infection of, oh, like, being around you makes me feel bad about myself. The right people and the people that you need to surround yourself with, and the people that should be in your close circle, are people that you don't feel socially drained after hanging out with, and you feel like they are filling your cup and you feel energized after hanging out with them, not the people that you feel that kind of icky feeling in your chest afterwards, which I've totally felt before, like, ugh, like you're not enough. The right people and the right friends, you're gonna feel absolutely amazing after hanging out with them. So I guess that was a very long-winded kind of all over the place advice kind of thing, but I felt like it had to be said because I had talked about it today. So just going back to the what drives me and driving, I vowed to learn how to drive this year. I really, really, really hope I can't, because it is super uncomfortable for me, and it's honestly a fear at this point, but I'm totally going to try to learn how to drive now. Because even just talking about it today, I realized, oh gosh, I really should do that, because I know that it would scare me, and that's how you grow. And that's just a little that I need to learn in order to become a grown adult, so that I can drive myself places and be independent and not like a little kid like in the back seat with my parents anymore. So that's next on my list. But yeah, I know this was kind of a short episode, but honestly, this was not my strongest episode, because I was kind of a rambler and I should have prepared a little bit more. Womp womp. But I just want to thank you guys so much if you made it this far. And if you didn't, I don't blame you for not making it this far. But I hope that you were able to take some pieces of advice away from this podcast. And I'm sorry it was a little bit low energy, because I've just been really exhausted and it's kind of been a long week. So thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for coming out of your shell today and listening to Be a Lobster podcast. Don't be shellfish. Be sure to drop a follow on our Instagram at Be a Lobster podcast for show updates, behind the scenes, and more. I shall see you later, because it's a celebration. Bye, everyone.